Y&R Spoilers Reveal Scandals in Amanda and Phyllis's Relationship. No one can deny Phyllis Summers' tenacity and burning ambition. For those who know her, this is both a compliment and a warning, because once Phyllis sets her sights on something, whether it's a lofty goal or a shady revenge plan, she will do whatever it takes to make it happen, regardless of who gets caught up in the whirlwind. Recently, Phyllis once again showed her iron will when she came up with a new, bold, and dangerous idea. Taking advantage of the power of Aristotle Dumas, a mysterious billionaire who has just appeared and is exerting great influence on powerful corporations in this city, to carry out a revenge, not only for herself but also to assert her position and power after being underestimated and betrayed so many times. Phyllis's plan did not begin with any obvious reckless moves, but rather with observation, exploration, and exploitation of all the relationships around her. Knowing that it would not be easy to approach Dumas, Phyllis did not hesitate to seek out Amanda Sinclair, the only close friend she truly trusted at the moment. Amanda, as Dumas's personal lawyer, was the key to opening the door that many people in Genoa City craved. But Amanda was a cautious person, having suffered many troubles from being involved in Phyllis's reckless schemes and plans. Therefore, when hearing Phyllis express her desire to have a private meeting with Dumas, Amanda could not help but be cautious and hesitant, constantly asking her friend about the real reason behind this intention. However, with her ingenuity and unyielding spirit, Phyllis still managed to convince Amanda to agree to help her, at least providing information about the time and place that Dumas could appear in Genoa City. But at that moment, Amanda faced the most difficult choice. To keep her loyalty to Phyllis or to maintain her professionalism and moral obligation to Dumas, who had entrusted her with the role of protecting his interests. While struggling with her thoughts, Amanda was unexpectedly drawn into a more dangerous vortex than she thought. Because what she did not escape the eyes of Dumas, a man rumored to always be one step ahead, knowing every plot before it took shape. When Amanda accidentally or intentionally reported information about Phyllis's intention to approach Dumas, this billionaire tycoon immediately took a tough action. For Dumas, anyone who dared to play a double game or take advantage of their close position to arrange things for others was a potential danger that had to be eliminated. In just one day, Amanda received a notice of her dismissal without a long explanation, as a clear message that he would not tolerate betrayal or any scheming behavior, whether it stemmed from loyalty to a close friend or for other personal purposes. Amanda's shocking dismissal caused a stir in Genoa City, especially among the upper class. No one understood what was going on behind the curtain of secret negotiations, and even less could they predict the domino effects that Dumas' cold-blooded decision would create. Amanda went from being an outsider to a direct victim of her own kindness and gullibility, and fell into isolation, losing both her professional position and her trust in relationships that she had thought were inviolable. On the other hand, Phyllis did not show any signs of hesitation or remorse. In fact, this event only motivated her to go further in her revenge plan. Amanda's loss of her job was only a temporary setback in Phyllis's eyes, because she still believed that she would find a way to approach Dumas in another way, perhaps more dangerous, more daring, but certainly effective if she knew how to take advantage of all the relationships, secrets, and weaknesses she had collected during her time working at Genoa City. But this time, it was not just a game between Phyllis and her old enemies or business rivals, but also a secret war with those who had once stood by her side. Her friendship with Amanda was put on the scale, weighing between personal interests and long-standing friendship. However, for Phyllis, there is no room for hesitation, because she always considers goals and victory as everything, and emotions, loyalty or even friendship, if necessary, can all become sacrificed pieces on the chessboard of life. In the following days, Phyllis planned to approach Dumas again. This time, she no longer hoped for Amanda's help but started to target Dumas' other associates, including senior assistants and close security personnel. Phyllis used everything she had: charm, sharp intelligence, experience in the business world and a little recklessness. She learned every habit, weakness, and travel schedule of Dumas, not hesitating to even set up small traps to attract his attention, or to force him to meet her directly just to solve some fake problem related to Chancellor, the corporation that was in the sights of both of them. It was in these moments that Phyllis showed herself to be a master of persistence and cunning. She actively created rumors that the Chancellor was being targeted by rival forces, or exaggerated financial risks to force Dumas to reveal himself, or sent someone to review internal management. Phyllis gradually encroached into the circles of power, causing everyone around her to always question whose interests she was serving, the Chancellor, Dumas, or simply herself. As for Amanda, after the shock of losing her job and feeling betrayed by her best friend, she fell into a period of soul-searching and intense internal conflict. Amanda felt both guilty for having unintentionally put herself in Dumas's sights, and helpless when she realized that her close relationship with Phyllis had been exploited for a personal purpose that she had never anticipated. For Amanda, this was not only a professional failure but also a wound that was difficult to heal. However, being a strong person, she did not allow herself to be immersed in sorrow for too long. Amanda began to collect every clue about Phyllis's plan, as well as Dumas's behavior, to find an opportunity to counterattack when the opportunity came. On the other hand, Dumas did not take what had just happened lightly. This boss was always vigilant and put loyalty first, but at the same time he also highly appreciated the boldness, intelligence and indomitable spirit of those who dared to confront him. Therefore, instead of completely eliminating Phyllis from every game, Dumas secretly observed, to see what she could do, whether she would become a real threat or just a small piece in the chessboard of power controlled by him. As the opposing forces became more and more exposed, Chancellor quickly became the target of competition between both Dumas and Phyllis, along with a number of other corporations in the city. Rumors that Dumas wanted to take over Chancellor gradually became true, as he secretly took steps to buy back shares, arrange senior personnel and control media channels to orient public opinion in his favor. Phyllis did not miss the opportunity, taking advantage of every gap to approach the board members, luring them to her side with the promise of turning Chancellor into a leading corporation if she was given the right to operate. The continuous battles of wits took place, turning Genoa City into an underground battlefield between factions, where every word, every action, every handshake or look could contain a series of profound meanings. For Phyllis, the ultimate goal was to stand at the pinnacle of Chancellor's power, while for Dumas, it was to control everything, both the corporation and ambitious people like Phyllis, Amanda, or anyone who dared to challenge his absolute power. One day, when the secret war reached its climax, Phyllis finally had the chance to face Dumas directly. No more beating around the bush or avoiding him, she looked straight into the billionaire tycoon's eyes, presenting her plans and ambitions openly and strongly, without any fear. Phyllis knew that this was the decisive moment, the only chance to prove to Dumas that she was not just a pawn, but could be a partner or a formidable opponent. But at that very moment, all the tricks, and even loyalty were exposed, making both of them understand that only the strong, the smart, and the opportunistic can survive in this unforgiving game of power. The final outcome is still a mystery. Will Phyllis succeed, or will she continue to taste failure, even be turned away by the very people she once trusted? Regardless, the battle for power, fame and loyalty in Genoa City will surely continue, and Phyllis, with her bravery, intelligence and unwavering determination, will remain one of the central figures, keeping the whole city from being at peace, at least until this game has a final winner. In the cold and full-bodied business world of Genoa City, every decision and action of the characters entails complex, even cruel consequences, which sometimes even the insiders themselves cannot ignore. Especially when it comes to the secrets and interests of powerful individuals like Aristotle Dumas, any subjectivity or emotional action can become a fire for silent but fierce crises. Amanda Sinclair, a smart, sharp, wise female lawyer, is someone who understands this very well, especially when she has witnessed many times how exposed secrets can bring down an empire of people who seem invincible. Since becoming Dumas's private professor, Amanda has soon realized that in addition to intelligence and professional ability, the most important factor that helps her survive and develop in this job is absolute confidentiality in all transactions and all information related to clients. Dumas was no ordinary businessman, he was a man of safety, always keeping his distance from them, hiding behind powerful corporations and multi-layered layers of protection. Keeping information about his campaigns, plans, and even his personal presence secret was an immutable principle that everyone on the team had to contribute to. Because even the smallest manifestation could create all the sediment or make the perpetrator pay with his career, honor, or money, or even his own integrity. That is why, when Phyllis Summers, Amanda's best friend, asked her to help arrange a surprise meeting with Dumas, Amanda was extremely hesitant. She knew very well that such a move would not only violate the principle of professional confidentiality but also be a dangerous gamble that could put an end to the career she had worked hard to build for many years. However, the friendship with Phyllis has always been the biggest weakness in Amanda's intellectual nature. She has witnessed Phyllis's architecture overcome many storms, many times rising from the universe with her own will and iron will. With sympathy mixed with admiration, Amanda could not bear to turn her back on her friend's request, especially when she understood that Phyllis was also being pushed into a corner, longing to regain her position and control her life with a step of destruction. During those stressful days, Amanda struggled with the feeling of stress. She knew clearly that if she helped Phyllis ambush boss Dumas, even if it was just a moment to overcome unexpected things outside the plan, it would be a double blessing act of pleas from Dumas for her. And Dumas, with his technical nature, would never forgive anyone who revealed his diagram or challenged his absolute authority. Amanda herself, with her well-paid position as a lawyer, understands that this job is not only a financial security but also a passport that helps her assert her position, power and prestige in Genoa City, where there is no shortage of participants who are willing to fight for everything just for a little advantage. However, deep inside Amanda is still the dangerous person between her friend and her professional responsibility. She feels stuck in a difficult balance. If she refuses to help Phyllis, she fears that she will lose her only chance to study her career and honor, even fall into despair, but if she agrees, Amanda will put herself in danger, possibly losing everything in just a moment of weakness. During sleepless nights, Amanda constantly wonders, is it worth sacrificing her career, future and reputation just to help her friend overcome the crisis? Or is it simply an impulse, and then I'll pay too much price? While Amanda was still hesitating, Phyllis became more determined. She ended Amanda, emphasizing that this was an unmissable opportunity, and at the same time painted a vision of great success if Dumas accepted and allowed her to run chancellor. Phyllis, with her unyielding personality in the face of failure, was willing to try every way to achieve her goal, not even thinking about the consequences or losses that could be caused to her best friend. Amanda felt both pity and worry about the expected decision, because she knew that Phyllis had repeatedly put herself in a dead end because she could not control her personal desires. Finally, under pressure from Phyllis and her own personal concerns, Amanda agreed to support her, despite her anxiety. She thought that if she simply arranged a meeting, avoiding all attention, Dumas might not be too serious to deal with or would ignore it even if everything was shared. But Amanda was wrong. Dumas, with his usual sensitivity, quickly picked up on the irregularities in his schedule and subsequent emotional outbursts. He quietly investigated, not even drawing out small trap cams to test the loyalty of his associates, including Amanda. The meeting that Amanda secretly informed Phyllis went exactly as planned. Phyllis prepared carefully, brought with her all the confidence, sharp arguments, hoping that this would be the time to turn the tables. But the atmosphere of the meeting was colder and more distant than she expected. Dumas kept his composure, observed Phyllis's every move with a cold gaze, only responded to questions with silence, or sometimes a tactful refusal. No real opportunity for negotiation opened up for Phyllis. By the end of the meeting, she realized that she had been pushed into a dead end. Not because of lack of preparation or ability to persuade, but because the other side never intended to give her that opportunity. Disappointment quickly turned to confusion, then anger as Phyllis gradually realized that Amanda had directed her into a trap. All the doubts, hurt, and resentment that arose put the relationship between the two close friends at risk of complete collapse. For Phyllis, this was not only a personal failure, but also a deep rift in the trust of the person she once considered her only ally. As for Amanda, her silence and composure after all was an affirmation that she had made the right choice, to keep herself safe, to protect her position against Dumas, and to pay the price of friendship if necessary. After that event, the power situation at Chancellor changed again. Dumas was still the one in absolute control, and Amanda, although she escaped the risk of being caught up in Phyllis's crazy game, had to face the coldness of her friends and suspicion in the business world. But for her, this was an expensive lesson about the boundary between love and career, between trust and calculation, between helping and sacrificing for people she could not control. Phyllis, after that failure, will be forced to look back at herself, at her true values, at her misplaced trust, and at the loneliness of someone who is always chasing ambition and forgetting the most important thing, who is really a friend, who is just a temporary ally on the path to power. Is Amanda really on Phyllis's side, or is she just setting up an elaborate trap to get rid of her annoying best friend from her life? After all, Amanda is the one who understands best the dangers of confronting Dumas head-on. She knows that Dumas never likes to be ambushed, and does not want to appear before people he has not actively chosen. An accidental or intentional meeting can end in the billionaire's cold fury. The consequence is not only a lost opportunity, but also a punishment for both Phyllis and Amanda. But if everything goes according to Amanda's script, Phyllis will taste defeat, eliminated from the power struggle without anyone having to betray her. For Amanda, this approach is not only a self-defense, protecting her position, career and Dumas' trust in her, but also a test of Phyllis's nature and limits. After many times helping and covering up for Red in the storm, Amanda also realized that friendship can sometimes only be maintained if you know how to say no, know how to set boundaries, and even be willing to let go when the other person has gone too far on the path of blind ambition. Giving information about Dumas to Phyllis, in the end, could be a clever way for Amanda to make Red realize where the final limit is, that not every door can be opened by recklessness, and not everyone is willing to pay the price to accompany her on every crazy adventure. On the other hand, Dumas is not completely passive in such power games. He actively observes, allows himself to be ambushed but at the same time controls every detail, sets a series of tests for Amanda and Phyllis. For him, every action of his associates must be clear, transparent, absolutely loyal and must prove true value to the corporation and himself. And so, the silent war between three strong personalities, Dumas, Amanda, Phyllis, has not yet ended. Because in Genoa City, the traps of power are always set, the sophisticated drama continues, and everything only ends when the last person stands on the top of glory, or accepts to pay the price of everything to maintain the position, honor and relationships that have been a lifetime of trust. Phyllis, although feeling guilty towards her best friend, her ambitious nature did not stop even though Amanda had been eliminated from the game. She sought to approach other links in the Dumas system, hoping to find a new door to approach the powerful tycoon, and continued to lobby Chancellor board members to expand her personal influence. Phyllis's persistence to the point of recklessness made many people in the business world afraid, but at the same time pushed her into isolation, when those who were once willing to help now had to be wary, keeping their distance from Red because they did not want to be caught up in that dangerous vortex. For Amanda, the time after losing her job was a series of quiet days, full of regret and torment. She gradually realized that sometimes the line between friendship and career was more fragile than she thought. In order to keep what was most important to herself, she was forced to learn to set limits, not letting emotions overwhelm her reason. Amanda began to look for new opportunities, knowing that the stigma of being fired by Dumas would make the road ahead more difficult. But deep down, she also understood that blind loyalty, or sacrificing everything just for a friend, sometimes makes you a victim of conspiracies that you yourself do not foresee. Amanda Sinclair's story is a painful but necessary reminder for everyone in Genoa City of the price of loyalty and the courage to stand up to power. In a world where secrets are weapons, and honesty or personal feelings are just sacrifices for the bigger game, anyone can become a loser in just a moment of weakness, regardless of their position, talent or initial motivation. And so, Genoa City continues to revolve in the infighting, the ambitions and secrets never subside. Ahead of Amanda is a new journey, where she is forced to grow up, become stronger, close the past and start over with valuable lessons about faith, career, friendship and her ultimate limits in a world where choice sometimes means losing everything.